Defense is one of the most important skills in basketball. But why? What do great defenders do night in and night out that make them such a valuable part of the basketball team? And how can you as a beginner play like them? Watch our players like Tony Allen, Jrue Holiday, and more do their job to help stop the opposing team from scoring. So in this video, I'm going to be going over basic basketball defense for beginners. Defense is a strategy in basketball to help stop the team with the ball from scoring. And a defender's job is to accomplish this goal by stopping them in as many ways as possible. And there are many different ways of doing this. And some of the reasons why being a great defender is so important is because it not only stops the opposing team, but it impresses their coaches and gives them more minutes on the court, and it could save their basketball team's season from coming to an end.
Series tied at 2 apiece. Marcus Smart goes to the rack and blocked by Jrue Holiday. He throws it off Smart. Milwaukee ball. What a play!
And now let's get into how you can become a great defender. One way to play defense is lateral defense. And what lateral defense is you sliding from one direction to another in an attempt to stay in front of the opposing player with the ball. And in basketball, you may often find yourself playing lateral defense, especially if you're guarding someone out at the three-point line or just further away from the rim. So it's really important that you become a great lateral defender and get better at staying in front of the ball handler. And having quick footwork is also something that can help you with this. And one way to improve your lateral quickness is to do defensive slides. And there are different types of drills for defensive slides, but the overall point is to be able to get in a low defensive stance and slide from one part of the court to the other. And if you're a smaller player, you may already have a lot of quickness that you could use to become a better lateral defender. And now let's go over some film of NBA players playing lateral defense. So DeMar DeRozan looks for an open shot and Kyle Lowry steps up to guard him. And he does a post spin into a post fadeaway but misses the shot. And Kyle Lowry also did a really good job at staying in front of DeMar DeRozan and making it difficult for him to get a good shot. And look at his defensive stance here. He's low and has his legs spread apart from each other with his arms spread out as well. And the reason why you want to be in this defensive stance is because if you spread your legs apart from each other, it'll be easier for you to move your feet and stay in front of that player. And with your arms spread out, you'll be in a better position to either knock the ball from that player's hands or steal their passes. And when you're on the defensive end, you need to be confident in yourself and believe in your ability to stop that player. Trust me. Slapping the floor will get you put on the highlight.
A three-pointer. Yeah. LA took advantage of that down the stretch.
Oh, off 1 foot. Oh, yes. What?
And another way to play defense is to get steals. And you can get steals in multiple ways. You can knock the ball out of a player's hands and recover the ball, or you can steal passes, or you can even steal inbound passes. And knocking the ball out of a player's hands really comes down to timing. And you have to be able to reach in for the ball without hitting that player's arm or wrist, because then you'll get called for a foul. And watch how Jose Alvarado gets his steal. So Jose gets an easy steal as he takes advantage of the Houston Rockets not paying him much attention. And the Spurs are coming down the court and he comes down from behind and gets the steal again. And this is one good way to knock the ball out of a player's hands, is when they're not paying attention to the other players on the floor. So make sure that you're always aware of what's happening on the court and play at a much higher effort than everyone else on the floor, and you will get rewarded. And Tony Allen is guarding Damian Lillard and he manages to get in front of him, but Tony Allen is still there and knocks the ball out of his hand. And this is why you need to always be quickly moving your feet and have your hands active, because you could have the opportunity to knock the ball out of a player's hands if they expose the ball even just a little bit. And when it comes to stealing passes, you need to be the first one to the ball before your man. And a couple of ways to do this is to simply out-hustle him. Because the New York Knicks player that was trying to catch the ball here didn't really make much of an effort to catch the ball, and Tony Allen takes advantage of that by hustling to the ball and being the first one there. And if you believe that a player is about to make a pass to a certain teammate and you think you can get there in time to steal the ball, then definitely go for it. But that also brings me to my next point, is that it may not always be the best idea to go for that steal. So say for example, if you knew this player wanted to make a pass to this player, but you're somewhere over here, it may not be the best idea to go for the steal in that situation, because you might not be able to make it to that pass in time. And if you don't manage to get that steal, then you just gave this player right here an easy opportunity. So in this situation, it's better to only go for the steal if you're nearby the ball handler. And the same thing applies when trying to steal an inbound pass. And the next way to play defense is blocking shots. And blocking shots is a good way to stop a player from scoring even if they're able to get a shot off. And you don't even have to be really athletic to block shots, even though being athletic can somewhat help. But blocking shots is all about jumping at the right time. But you need to be careful about trying to block shots, because if you block it but the ball looked like it was going to go in, then that could be called a goaltend. So Karl Anthony Towns drives on JaVale McGee and passes it to Patrick Beverley. And Patrick Beverley goes up for the dunk, but JaVale McGee recovers and blocks it. And as a big man, you don't have to be in the paint all the time to block shots either. But if anyone does manage to get into the paint area, then it is up to you to come over to block that shot. And the Charlotte Hornets are on the fast break to finish a layup, but Montrezl Harrell blocks it from behind. But look closely at how he blocks his layup. Montrezl isn't running at full speed here. He's taking small steps to time when that Hornets player will go up for a layup. And as soon as he goes up for it, that's when he blocks the layup. And just like getting steals, there are a couple different situations that you can block shots in. And in this situation, Hassan Whiteside does a chase down block. And a chase down block is when a player with the ball is making their way to the rim and you chase after them to block the layup. And once again, Hassan Whiteside isn't running at full speed. He's running slow enough to be able to time when he's going to jump for the block. And if you're unable to block a shot in time, then what you could do is a closeout. And what a closeout is when you close a large wide open gap between you and the player with the ball, in order to still make it difficult for them to make the shot even if they manage to get the shot off. And you can actually close out on a player's shot in two different ways. You can close out by running towards them and jumping at them to contest the shot, or you can just simply run up to them and put your hands up. But be careful about closing out too fast, because they can blow right by you and get an easy dunk or layup. So yes, you need to sprint towards them in order to close the gap, but at the same time you must be able to slow down as you get closer to that player. And in this situation, this Orlando Magic player didn't really have to run very fast because he didn't have that big of a gap to close. And this player had to run faster to close the gap because there was a much bigger gap. But in order to slow yourself down, like I mentioned earlier, you must take short and choppy steps. So that way you'll have better control over your own momentum instead of just going flying out of bounds. And now to recap the basics of defense. You must be a great lateral defender. Your job is to keep that ball handler in front of you at all costs. And if you're going to knock the ball out of somebody's hands, do so without fouling. Only attempt to steal passes if that player passes the ball near you. Block shots or close the wide open gap. And most importantly, believe in your ability to stop that player with the ball in their hands and make every shot attempt difficult for them. Don't even give them the opportunity to shoot the ball. And after learning these basketball tips, you'll impress your coach, earn more minutes on the court, and perform plays like this for your team.
This finds Irving. Irving, 4 seconds left. Irving for the win. Denied by Morant. Overtime. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection. Oh my goodness.
But defense is only part of the puzzle. Click this video right here to learn more skills that will help you as a basketball player.